me say hello to him first because he's kind enough to join us. There he is, Sam Alvey. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing great. You do have a broken jaw, yes?
Yeah. I'm actually sitting outside the dentist right now. In about an hour's time, they're going to tell me if they need to wire me shut or not.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you're doing this interview with a broken jaw. I had to check with you. You're okay to speak?
I'm fine. I'm going to beg them not to wire me shut because I can talk. I've been able to eat slowly, but I can eat. I can eat soft foods, and I'm going to beg them not to wire me shut again.
How much does it hurt? Like right now, like do you feel a pain?
No, it's. I feel a tightness, like it's swollen.
Okay.
So it's really, if I look up this way, it gets real tight. So if I don't look up that way, I feel just fine.
Okay. And you have had it shut before?
Yeah, Sean Strickling, dead jerk. He kicked me in the face. I don't know, 6 years ago or so. He was the first one to break my jaw.
How bad was that?
That one was worse. That one was. So I was sparring. We weren't even sparring that hard, and I was beating the hell out of him. You can ask him. And he threw a little teep kick. He just caught me under the chin, and it's like, oh, I time out. I said, what, are you all right? He said, yeah, I'm fine. Sat down for a second. I went to the bathroom. I took my mouth guard out. It was just, my mouth was filled with blood. Oh. I spit the blood out and stuff. And you could see my bottom two teeth. They were just split. There was like a 1/4-inch gap between the two bottom ones.
Oh my God.
So I yell out I say, Britt, my wife, we need to go to the doctor.
Oh my gosh.
So we went to a dentist first. He took an x-ray. He said, there's a chance it's your tooth. And then he x-rayed. He said, no, it's your jaw. And then they went and wired me shut. Little different story this time. Here it's been 3 or 4 days since it's been broken, and by the end of the day it feels normal.
Wow.
In the first half it's a little stiff right now.
Okay, so I hope that you don't have to wire it shut. Now, I was saying that this came about in a very unique manner. I'm very new to TikTok, Sam, and I've been posting some things over there, and all of a sudden I see a message on my TikTok from you. And I couldn't believe that it was you. And then I click on your name and I'm like, wow, you're a TikTok star. You're very popular on there and you post a lot and your stuff is very fun and entertaining. How did this all come about? I would never peg you for a TikTok guy.
I love TikTok. And it's a shame it's communist run or whatever. Yeah. I'm kind of over it. I just love it. And I commented on your page because I didn't know if it was actually you or somebody just stealing your stuff. And then you reached out and
yes.
Oh, cool. It was him. So I'll follow here in a moment.
Thank you.
No, it was, I taught kids classes back at Dan Henderson's gym. And one of the moms said, hey, you would love TikTok. You should try it. And I said, I don't want to. So I just try it. I was addicted immediately.
Oh my.
I mean, it was like, just as soon as I got on it, I was just on it every chance I got. I was watching something. It's amazing how stupid some people are, but how incredibly talented so many people are. And you just get on there and you start scrolling and you see people doing these amazing minute-long talents. And I just got hooked. And so the little, I mean, I think I've got 80 fights professionally or something close to it. I've been in the UFC for the last decade. I fought in Bellator and MFC in Canada. I've been to just about every continent. And so I use my page as fun as I can make it, but about the behind the scenes of MMA.
Yeah.
I tell stories of what Dana has done or what I've done or what's happened, this day or that day. And I've really found a calling here on TikTok. I really enjoyed it.
Does anyone help you with this?
No, not really. It's just kind of me. I've got some famous TikTok friends now.
Oh, wow.
And they've told me a little bit of the behind the scenes on their side. And so that's helped guide me, stay consistent, stay stuff like that. But for the most part, it's been me just running my mouth for 2 years now.
Well, keep it up on that front. You did announce some unfortunate news yesterday. You are no longer in the UFC.
I'm not. My incredible run in the UFC has come to an end.
Now, what happened? How did you find out that it was over?
Well, I knew going into the fight that it was likely going to be over. One, I mean, it's no secret at this point. I've had a string of bad luck with my career while fighting, and so after my last one, I was sure that was it. The UFC reached out to me and they said, "Listen, you've got one fight on your contract. We're going to let you fight it out whenever you're ready. Let us know. You've been a pleasure to work with. We're going to let you go out. We're not going to cut you. You're just not going to probably be re-signed. I said, okay, I can dig that. I can dig that. So I waited. I let my body heal up. We had my sixth baby. And shortly after that, I said, all right, let's do it. So they hooked me up with a fight. And then I've been out in camp for the last 6 weeks.
And so was there any part of you that thought, if I do something amazing here, something spectacular, maybe they'll reconsider, maybe they'll re-sign me?
In the back of my head, yes. That thought was always there. Boy, howdy, that didn't go according to plan. But deep down, I realized it was probably going to be the end of my UFC run. So I was gonna put on a hell of a show and try and impress whatever I do next.
So going into that fight, the streak was winless in your last 8, right? And I feel like people were kind of mocking you a little bit and wondering openly why you were still on the roster. Did any of that bother you? Did it hurt your feelings? Were you annoyed by any of it?
You know what? No. I realize, and if you look at Tapology, it's ugly. My last 4 years are ugly on Tapology, but I realized that if you watch those fights, there were a lot of fun fights in there. I had a lot of good battles. Some fights I feel I won, even though I didn't. Some fights I lost, and it was still fight of the night kind of performance. I have put on some good fights that I'm proud of. People on the internet want to say what they want to say, and that's fine with me. And you know what? A lot of those bad comments, there were twice as many people defending me.
Oh,
It's just the bad comments always stick out to a guy more. I'll post something, I'll get 4,000 likes, but that one comment saying "you suck" is the comment you just keep reading over and over in your head. And that's once I got over that. Once I look at the likes, once I look at the love I got online, particularly, it was a lot easier to rationalize the fewer people that wanted to bring me down.
you've been in this sport a long time. Did you ever ask yourself, why am I getting so many chances? Why aren't they cutting me? There are other guys who lose once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Very rare to get to as many as you got to, and they were happy to have you back. Did you ever ask yourself or even them that question?
Yeah. So I mean, I knew I was going to get cut 4 separate fights. I just knew it's all right. Well, I had a good run, and then they gave me another shot. Before this last fight, when they decided not to cut me, when they decided to let me fight out my contract, they told me, said, "Sam, you are one of the easiest people to work with."
Wow.
Said, you've never said no to a fight. You have gone, I mean, out of your way to help the UFC in some tough situations where other opponents fell out, and you stepped up. And he said it's very easy for fighters on fight week or fighters to show up to the PI and just be mad. He said that's never been the case. Every fight week, every time there was a fight, every time we had to deal with you, you helped. I mean, you brought the morale up with the staff. And so we appreciate that. We appreciate that. And they even said, he said, and we think you won a couple of the fights that you haven't. So he said, all of that combined, we're going to let you fight out your contract.
Wow. Does this mean that your MMA career is over?
No. I love fighting. I don't know when I'm going to fight next. Which fight every MMA fighter wants it, but now it kind of makes sense, is the Jake Paul fight. Everybody wants to do it. I like to joke that I haven't won in a while, which is kind of the kind of guys he likes to fight. So that makes sense. I'm the same size as him, which will be a little different for him. He tends to like fighting people that are smaller than him. So he'll have to make the little exception for that. But I'm the first guy that he would have fought that is a knockout guy. I am a guy that has always been a striker, and I would be the first non-wrestler. I'm not quite a boxer. I've never boxed. I've kickboxed, 7-1 professional kickboxing, but I've never boxed. But I am a striker, so it might be the way he sees himself fighting next.
So,
I think it makes sense.
I actually feel like you have a chance. I feel like you have a shot here, Sam.
There's a chance if you know somebody. We're reaching out to what's it, Triller or Thriller?
No, don't reach out to Triller. Don't reach out to Triller.
Yeah,
he's not in business with them. Don't. He's not in business with them.
Don't reach out. Okay, it's show fights or
Showtime.
Yeah, that's sorry.
Yeah, no,
I got hit in the head.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we're reaching out to show fights. We're seeing what happens.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's up to him if he wants to fight me more than if I want to fight him. But a fun story. I got before their first fight. I got to. They invited me to come out and help them train, so I helped spar with Logan Paul.
What?
Yeah, this would have been 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. I ended up meeting up with their boxing coach, standing in line for an MMA Junkie Award, something. And his boxing trainer and we split messages, and they brought me out to help him train for a day. So I got to spar with Logan Paul, and it was a lot of fun. Logan seemed like a good dude. I wasn't crazy about Jake, but it could have just been the day.
No. You have to say you didn't like him. He was a punk kid. He was rude to you. We got to sell this fight here. Come on, create some beef.
He was a douche. He was.
There we go.
Smiling Sam. I'm not supposed to be saying he was. He was a douche. Logan seemed okay. Logan, I actually almost broke his jaw in the sparring session.
Oh my gosh.
I was doing the best I could to carry him, to just be a training partner for him, throw something, and he just kept getting hit. And at one point he kind of fell back. So, I'm sorry. But I was supposed to spar his brother too, Jake, and Jake wouldn't do it afterwards. I said, Jake, I'll take it easy. I'll give you whatever work you want. But Jake wouldn't spar me that day.
Wow, there's a story here.
I was never invited back.
Wow.
So
there's a story here, Sam. I feel like we got something here.
It might be. I gotta relive the glory days of whooping the Paul's butts in their house. Their house was beautiful though. They had a full-size Olympic boxing ring in their living room. It was crazy.
Wow. Now, do you feel like do you feel like you want to fight him because he's beatable? Like, have you not been impressed with him, or is it just like a good paid? Like, what is your motivation here?
He's a douchebag, and I've never fought somebody I don't like. Like, for the most part, there's people I don't know, but I've never fought someone I don't like. And everything, I keep trying to like Jake Paul, but every time he opens his mouth, it's like, God, I wish somebody would shut you up. I mean, and he would be the first guy. I don't like him. He's a douche. It's the best word I can put towards him. And I would love the opportunity to fight someone I don't like. It would be a different kind of camp for me.
But, he talks about fighters getting more money and things like that. It seems like he's why is he a douchebag, as you say?
Shoot, some of the stuff he was doing with the girls that were at our boxing day, it was that bothered me. It was nothing terrible. It was just like, yeah, he was doing stuff I was present for, and it's like they were fine with it, but I wasn't.
Okay.
So that was kind of my big problem for the day. But his fighter pay thing, and this is, people hate on me for this because I think fighter pay is pretty good and I defend it fairly well. He goes after fighter pay, but he doesn't do it because he believes anything. He does it because it's an easy win. It's an easy way to get people on his side. If the UFC were to do what he wants them to do as far as fighter pay goes, everyone gets paid $1 million or 10 million, whatever it is he's saying, he would just get most of the roster of the UFC fired. If the UFC were to increase their pay to what Jake Paul wants them to do it, UFC wouldn't be able to have the same business model they do. Instead of having 800 fighters on the roster, they would drop it down to 100. Those 100 would get paid very, very well, but they wouldn't get advertised for as much. They wouldn't be given as much stuff, and the rest of the roster would be fired, would be sent out to wherever else they can find fights.
So can I ask you something? Because, by the way, I don't get fired up. Like, you support fighter pay or you say that you're okay with it. Like, that's your prerogative. If you're happy with your pay, God bless you, I don't think – I speak about it a lot because I feel like all of you should make more money and you risk your lives. But I don't think less of you because you're happy with your pay. It's great. I'm just curious about this perspective. Now that you're no longer a UFC fighter and you have to look at life outside of the UFC, you just said you have 6 children. You've been in the UFC for about a decade. How many fights? Top of my head, I don't know the number. Do you know how many fights?
25 in the UFC.
25. That's an unbelievable number. Would you be in favor if there was some sort of pension plan where it's like, hey, you reach the 25 number, you're Sam Alvey, you're Joe Lozon, you're Donald Cerrone. You reach a certain status where post-UFC, you will be supported like an NFL player is supported when he has X amount of years in the league, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that be a nice thing?
If the UFC could find a way to do that, to increase, The UFC has been increasing pay at exponential rates. When I first started fighting in the UFC, I think I fought for 8 and 8. Right now, if you're just starting, it's 12 and 12. In the 8 or 9 years I've been in the UFC, the starting pay has gone up by 50%. There's not a there's not a job in the world that has gone up by 50% in the last 8 years, and the UFC has done that at their starting level. What I just made this last weekend is more than title challengers have made. It's more than title holders have made 8. Sorry, I broke
Yeah,
my jaw and
I know, I know,
my
I know.
words come out. Uh, what I just made to lose this last fight is more than title contenders, title champions made when I was first starting in the UFC. The pay is going up at an astronomically fast rate. Um, now they're changing, and then they've done it without changing how many people they hire. As a matter of fact, I think they're hiring more people than ever before right now because they have more shows than ever before. If they were to be able to find a way to pay me a pension or pay me this or pay me that post retirement, fantastic. I don't want to force them to do that because as soon as I or somebody forces them to do that, they're going to have to make cuts somewhere else. They're going to have to limit their roster to pay me for the rest of my life or to pay me for the next 10 years, whatever, outside of me competing for them. They're going to have to fire 400 fighters to be able to do that for me and the remaining 400 fighters. I just that they are doing everything they can as fast as they can. At least that's what I'm seeing from the outside, uh, to increase our pay to the point where we are getting. I mean, we may never make as much as a baseball player is, but we're getting close. I mean, we will be getting closer.
Um, how many more years do you want to fight for in any type of fighting?
I'm going to start fighting less right now, but as long as I'm healthy. I mean, honestly, I've broken my jaw and that kind of sucks. But other than that, I don't have any long term injuries. I take good care of my brain. I'm really careful about that. I don't take too much damage outside of the fights. I love sparring hard, but even then, I know my training partners. I'm constantly watching over everything. I've got people that are conscious of whether or not there's any changes in me personally. Uh, um, and I've got a lot of fights, no doubt. And until recently, I haven't been hit that much. So as long as I'm healthy, I enjoy doing this. I'm one of the few, I have one of the few jobs in the world where I never have to wear shoes. And as long as I can do that, that's what I'm going to do.
You're relatively young, right? You're 36.
36.
What do
Oh,
you,
I know it takes me a second to remember how old I am.
it's amazing, but that's a very young age to kind of talk about the end of the career. So what are you going to do? Like, how do you plan on living out your days now?
The dream of mine before I started fighting, I didn't know about the UFC. The dream of mine is the WWE. I
Oh,
mean, that is I grew up watching that. I do it in my backyard to this day. My kids are into it. I love that. It is the only thing in the world that would get me to just quit fighting today is if the WWE or AEW or a professional wrestling organization were to call me up and say, "Hey Sam, we got something for you." I said, "I'm in. I'm never fighting again if that were to happen."
wow.
Um,
I saw you were at
yeah,
SummerSlam, right?
I was.
Yeah.
I went home. It was the last day of camp. I went home. I watched SummerSlam, and then I went out to Vegas.
Wow. So have you made have you reached out to anyone? I know they do tryouts. I was just at one of the tryouts in Nashville. It was on the Thursday before SummerSlam. Dwight Howard, the NBA star, showed up. Have you tried to do any of that?
I'm not. I wasn't allowed to because I was under
Ah,
contract. Because you can't be talking about other contract. Now that I'm out of contract, I'm gonna let my jaw heal, and then
sure.
I'm gonna start. But no, I'm absolutely. I mean, as much as I'd like to fight Jake Paul, I would much rather wrestle
No,
Logan
don't
Paul.
say that. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that was okay. Fine. Fair enough. I thought you were going to say I'd rather be why not do both?
Why not? I'll
Yes.
do them in the same night. I'll pin one, two, three, then I'll knock the other one out.
And by the way, I saw on your TikTok, second worst weight cut of your career this past week.
Yeah, yeah. It went so bad. I just stopped sweating. Like 3 pounds to go, I just stopped sweating. So I had an hour left at the hotel. Said, we're doing this. I went and did 25 minutes in the bath. I sat out, and then I went back and did another 25 minutes. I was still a pound over. I went and weighed in. officially, but not officially. You get an hour after weigh-ins to
Yeah.
make weight. And I had a pound to go. I said, all right, let's. My wife actually, I just made a YouTube video about what happened with the weight cut, and it was my wife is the reason I made it. Said I was ready to quit. You know, at the end of the weight cut, you're just dead, and you don't want to do anymore. And my wife, she said, Sam, we can deal. Me and the kids, we can deal with a loss. Loses happen, but this is quitting. This is stopping. I'm
Wow.
going to ask you, me and the kids, get back in the sauna. You have an hour to lose a pound. And I was so pissed at her. She's like, oh, I was so upset she would do. Uh, the, fine. So they drove me over to the PI, and I rage sweat. I just went in the sauna. It's like, oh, fucking weird, stupid. You're asking me to do this, and I made weight. I made weight. It was very difficult those last 3 pounds, but I did it.
By the way, what was the worst? If that was second worst, what was worst?
The Ultimate Fighter. So I had to make 170.
Ah.
And it was like 40 pounds in 29 days or something like that. And I didn't know anything about weight loss. The final 11 pounds, they brought me out to Vegas, and the UFC wasn't then what it is now. Like they just brought you out and said, make weight. I said, okay. So they brought me over to 24-hour fitness at 11 pounds to go. I got into the sauna, and I started blacking out like 2 minutes into it.
Oh.
I was like, stuff started just, oh no, it got out, it cooled off. I said, okay, try again. I took a jacket off, I went back in, and like 2 minutes in, I started blacking out. I just about blacked out, and then I got myself out, I jumped in the pool, cool off, and I didn't think I was going to make it. Went back to the hotel room. I said, well, shoot, I've still got 11 pounds to go by tomorrow. I said, I guess I'll do it all tomorrow. But I had a thought. Somebody told me about a bath once. He said, you can sweat in a bathtub. I said, let's give it a shot. And so that night by myself in the room, I cut 11 pounds in a bathtub, and
Wow.
I've never gone back to a sauna. This last pound was my first time back cutting in a sauna.
Wow. What a story. Just 2 more.
That one was the roughest one.
Yeah, it sounds horrendous. Thank God you don't have to do that anymore. 6 kids, huh? Man, 6.
6 kids. And they're all young. My oldest is 9. My youngest is 2 months.
Golly. What is the house like? Is it total chaos?
Not anymore. Now that I'm out in Tennessee, so I've moved to Tennessee. I've got a ranch. I've got horses. Since we've moved to Tennessee, I think we've added 63 heartbeats to our home.
Oh my gosh.
And so now that I'm out here, if the kids are bugging me, I say, go outside. I just kick them out, and they go play with the chickens or the sheep or the goats or the horses, or they just go. And then we've got a little bell when it's time for dinner. You ring the bell, get back in, we'll feed you all.
Oh my gosh.
So now it's not so bad. Out in California, when I only had 5 in California, but that was, you don't have the property in California. That got loud.
How about the fact that you were on an 8-fight winless streak and ESPN does a huge profile on you? Was that a surprise?
That they hit me up? Yeah. They hit me up. Shoot. So they hit me up right around the time I was being offered the fight. Said, hey, we need a story, and my producer here is head of the magazine. They said that he told me about you, and you sound incredibly interesting. I said, on paper, I am. Come on out. So he said, all right. So he flew out. He spent about a day with us. Took him all around my home. I showed him a little bit of everything. I showed him the gyms I work out at. I'm now a commentator for the B2 Fight Series too, as well. And so I went down to Chattanooga that night to commentate, and he followed me down there. And then he Ubered back up. He said, I've got Disney money. I can Uber the 2 hours. And it was so much fun getting to speak with him, and then reading the story. It came out the week of my fight, and it was really a fun story.
Ryan Hawkinsmith is the writer, so shout out to him. Last thing for you, Sam, and I'll let you get going with your day. And it's been lovely to catch up with you. And I'm actually like very impressed. And we've known each other for a long time. I've talked to you before, but like despite everything, and you're on the streak, and that's never easy. And now you've got a broken jaw, and how are you so positive, my friend? Does anything get under your skin? Like, this is not a front. I know it's not a front. How do you remain so happy, so positive, so optimistic, despite, right now your career maybe not going the way you want it to be going?
Have you ever seen my wife? My wife is hot as hell. So as bad as something might be, I've always gotten. In all honesty, my wife is she's just wonderful. She is with me, win or lose, thick or thin. I've got a beautiful family. The good Lord is always looking over me, and it's one of those things that I know He will never, the Lord will never give me anything I can't handle. So why freak out about anything? I know life's not going to be easy. I'm going to have my loss. I'm going to have my bumps and my brokens and my this and my that. But whatever it is, I have full faith in my family. I have full faith in the good Lord that we will get through it, and we'll come out better for it.
I wish you the best, my friend. Good luck with that dentist appointment. I hope you don't have to get it wired shut. I believe this is the first interview we've ever done on the show with someone with a broken jaw. So much respect to you. Keep up the great work on social media, TikTok, Instagram. You're everywhere. This has been really nice. So thank you very much, and good luck to you. And good luck getting that Jake/Logan Paul fight/match as well. I'm rooting for you.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Talk to you soon. There he is, smiling Sam Alvey, despite the broken jaw, still smiling. And yes, this is the first, this is how old I am, guys. I first started reaching out to fighters and connecting with them via email. Then it was MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now we can add officially TikTok to that list. If you want to follow me on TikTok, you can.